I'm Scott Al Miller. It is the 22nd of March, 2022. It's Tuesday. Today I'm recording in a residencia, that is a gated community that we'd be used to in the United States. These tend to be in cities here instead of in the suburbs, because there are no suburbs generally. Here in Ciudad Sandino, which is the westernmost, and I just said there's no suburbs, the westernmost suburb of Managua. The way it's a little bit different though than an American suburb is that this community, Ciudad Sandino, is actually a city of its own, and there is a small break between it and Managua, and it really functions as a city. So people think of it as its own city, even though it's part of the metro area of Managua. It's close enough that you would take a taxi into the city. It's nice because you get kind of a suburban feel of a smaller place, but you have the big city to use. But it also is a city of its own with all of its own utilities and all of its own bars and restaurants and activities. So people who live here tend to stay here, but they do have really easy access to Managua when they want it, which is of course important because Managua is a big city, over 1 million people, and has just everything. So if you want to go out to big clubs, fancy restaurants, all those things, everyone goes to Managua from all parts of the country. Maybe the farthest flung regions like Esteli, San Juan del Sur, where it's really ridiculously far to get here. They have a few things to cover that, but most of the cities, they really don't have too much, and everybody comes into the center because it really isn't very hard to move around the country when you need to, and people don't go out for super fancy dinners all the time. And if you think about it, in the United States, often if you were going out someplace really fancy, like when I was growing up, Rochester would be an hour drive, and sometimes we would go to Toronto, which was 3 hours. And so the same kind of thing happens here. Most of the country is within an hour, hour and a half of Managua, and those that are not are almost all within 3 hours. So only a few really distant places start having a longer trip than that. So this is a beautiful gated community. People often say that Ciudad Sandino is a little bit on the dangerous side, but it depends where you are. This area is crazy safe and absolutely gorgeous. I love the houses here. I love the layout of the neighborhood. I like the incredible lack of traffic. There are, inside the gated community, there are little shops and stuff though, which is pretty interesting. And we do have beautiful views of the mountains and volcanoes. The air is really fresh here. Managua is much cooler than Leon, which is funny because if you first come to Nicaragua, you'll land in Managua and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's so warm. I'm in a tropical country. I can tell already. But for those of us who live in like Leon, or especially if you're in Chinandega, we like coming down to Managua because it's 5 degrees cooler and you get much more breeze. It's very fresh and you want to be outside all the time. People from Managua are like, oh, it's such a hot day, I want to be in air conditioning. And those of us from Leon are like, are you kidding? We want to sit on a patio and enjoy this breeze. It's beautiful. I want to walk around and do things outside. So today, though, today's Tuesday, and we didn't have a lot today because I spent a very heavy day editing because if you've been watching the show, we finally got my editing studio moved to the house yesterday, and today are my 2 really big days. I'm essentially caught up, having put in 2 days at the house, working like crazy to get a bunch of editing done, so I'm really happy about that. But that took pretty much the whole day, plus I did normal work as always, so that kept me kind of busy, but it wasn't too bad. Mostly editing and uploading, and of course the internet's a little bit slower, so my processes are a little bit heavy now, and I've started doing backups of finalized projects up to my GoPro cloud as well, so that's taking more time too. So I'm trying to do that stuff like in the middle of the night because it runs all night because they're big backups, but then I have them. Previously, a lot of things like the vlog episodes, they get deleted. I mean, they go to YouTube, obviously, and you can watch them, but the originals are gone, which is not ideal, just in case, right? And I can never use it again. Now, I have been keeping the source material for a long time, so that's not a problem. But the actual finalized project, if you were like, oh, I like that episode, could you put it together again? I would have to reassemble it from parts. And if we don't have a guide to that, I have no idea what to do. So I think it's nice to have those, and just in case we want to ever post them on another source, that will be an option. For now, we're YouTube only, and I can't imagine the effort and who would go back and look at the old episodes on another platform, but just in case, we are prepared. That's not my big thing for today, though. My big exciting things for today: one, we got our second room at the apartments next door. Paul has been living over there for some time, but it's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath plus courtyard apartment complex, and we're hoping to get eventually the control of the entire thing so that we have the ability to put my office over there, put Paul's office over there, have guest quarters, have all the space of our own so that we can do whatever we need to do and just spread out. And then we'll have the courtyard so we can park the motorcycles in there. We can set up an outdoor bar over there because it's a really nice courtyard that's open from the street, or can be easily open to the street. So like if we want to throw a party, do grilling or anything like that, it's perfect for that. Whereas the open space in our current house is in the back of the house. So you have to come through both salons, go along in front of all the bedrooms, and then you're into this kind of open courtyard underneath a lime tree. So you don't really want to grill there because it'll grill into the lime tree, and it's just not ideal for hosting outside. But the new space is perfect. So we're hoping to be able to host outside over there very soon. And in the meantime, we are getting the rooms over there one room at a time as the students who are currently live there move out. So today we're getting the second one, and that's gonna be nice because I'm gonna start looking at moving my office over there, because right now it's in the living room, which is okay, but it really does. It's funny, I'm the one who hates having my office in the living room. Normally everyone's like, Scott likes to have, business everywhere, and that's kind of true. But I like my living rooms, I like my public spaces of my house to be pristine. I don't like things stored in it. I don't like work going on in it. I like it that you can host, right? Someone comes over, sit on the couch, watch TV. There's no stuff. I like it to be really, really clean. Now, I don't care about other spaces, but I like having a dedicated office and keep all the work stuff there. I do like having a little spot so I can set up a laptop so I can like watch TV and use the laptop at the same time. That's nice, but I don't like being tied to, I'm here working and I'm in the public space of the house. From both directions. As an office, I don't think it's effective because I get stuck with all the goings on of the house interrupting me. So if I have a phone call or something, it's really a problem. And if I'm doing stuff, I interrupt everybody else. Like, it keeps the living room from being a living room. So I don't like having that happen if we can help it, and we're gonna start solving that more today. So happy to get that. Walter came over. He's back from Managua, so we're gonna be hanging out more because he's been in Managua for a month or two, pretty much since we saw him at the baseball game in Managua. He's been living down there, but he's back. Then tonight, there's a lot of dogs in this community, and this is Chispa. I'm gonna see if I can get her. This is Chispa, the neighborhood dog. She is just kind of everybody's dog, but she has a collar and she gets fed and she's very sweet, and she likes to hang out, and sometimes she follows me around. So it's a funny thing here is a lot of like community dogs are a thing, but they're actually taken care of. And then we get the same thing on the beach, that there's dogs that everybody knows and everybody takes care of, but they aren't actually owned by anyone, or they're effectively owned by someone, or it's kind of, it's weird. And Alan actually has kind of the same situation. He has a dog that is not his technically, but it fits through his gate, so it just comes into his house, and it doesn't get really fed by the people who officially own it, so Alan feeds it. So it's kind of his dog, and it sleeps at his place, and he feeds it, and it guards his place and keeps him safe and barks if anybody tries to come in. It's his dog. Okay, so tonight, Dominica and Yvonne and I went and started salsa classes. Now, if you read my blog or know me well, you know that Dominica and I used to do salsa maybe 10, 11 years ago. We used to go all the time. We would go and do salsa 2 days a week for quite some time. We got pretty decent at it, but it was a long time ago, and we have not used that since that time, and that was before we moved to New York. So this is 2011, 2012, 2013, somewhere in that zone. And we used to go to Grand Prairie. We used to go to the studios at Las Colinas. And so this is when Luciana was tiny, like 1-2 years old. And we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was really good. I'm kind of in the dark here. I don't know how this is gonna render because of this blown out bright background, but I love this space, and I love some of these houses. I'm gonna get clotheslined here though. I'm on a sidewalk that has stuff going on. I'm gonna have to duck. All right, there we go. So we really like doing that, and we got pretty decent, but not doing it for 10 years has meant that we've really lost it. Like, we just don't know how to salsa anymore. So it's time to take classes again, and that's what we're doing. So there's a class in Laborio right down the street from us, and we went down, and today is just the first one. So we signed up and showed up, and then we did about half an hour and did like the basic steps and did a little and kind of got back into the groove. And Yvonne has never done salsa, so this is new for her, and we're just really out of practice. And we're not dancers, right? We like going out dancing, but we're not good particularly, and we don't have any like skills or steps, so it's important for us to have to learn this and get it down. So that is something we're starting. So we're going to be doing that twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So today was the first one. Thursday in 2 days we're going to do our second class, and then I think that goes on for maybe as much as 3 months, and then if we're capable, we're going to move on to the intermediate class and do more advanced stuff. The intermediate class is the same time, just 1 hour later. So we saw that class come in as we were leaving. It's really nice though. It's only like a 4 or 5 minute walk from the house to the dance studio. So we can just go right down the street, boom, we're there. Really easy, and it's gonna be fun. Now, we thought it was gonna be a big class. It's gonna be like 8 or 16 people, and there's 3 of us. And then maybe 2 other people joined. I'm not clear if they're just helping out or if they're actually in the class. So maybe there's 5 of us, but there's only 3 to 5, like that's all there is. So I mean, it's kind of nice. You get really personal attention, and but it's a pretty small group also for dancing, that it's kind of like just, we could almost be doing it at the house for how small it is, but it's going to be good exercise. It forces all of us to get out twice a week. Now I do a lot of walking, but walking is relatively casual. You notice I'm walking right now and I'm not really moving. I'm not getting a ton of exercise while doing this exercise, but when we go dance, it's pretty much continuous. There's no break, and you've got to keep these steps going the whole time, and I feel it in my legs. So I know we're getting more exercise in some ways at least than I normally do, and definitely we work up a sweat. So I think it's gonna be good and fun. I'm really looking forward to being able to go out in Leon and go salsa dancing. That's gonna be really cool. All right, that is it for today. I think that is all the news. I mean, it's a pretty interesting day, and I love that I got to finally film in Ciudad Sandino, because this is a beautiful area. I'm hoping to get more from the Managua area soon. I just want to make an effort to try to get more things, because we're getting lots of Leon, and I love Leon, and everybody seems to love Leon, but getting to see other parts of the country is gonna make it that much more interesting. I'm actually gonna climb up a little hill here and go in. There's like a little garden area. I think they need to put in like a real garden here with a fountain and stuff. It would be great. This spot might be set aside for a house in the future, but it's a little bit small for a house, but it'd be perfect for a little community garden. And they have another spot across the way that'd be perfect for a garden. I think they need to, I mean, there's kind of a garden here. There's trees all around it. So I don't know, but they need to like, it's kind of shrub at the moment. All right, I will see all of you tomorrow.